Magandang hapon. Pansamantalang nakasuspend ang session ng Senado matapos ang medyo mainit na balitaktakan tungkol sa karapat-dapat bang si Bryce Hernandez, ang dating Assistant District Engineer ng Bulacan First District, dapat ba siyang ibalik sa Senado o hindi? Kasi I understand he's presently under the PNP, custody of the PNP Custodial Center as agreed upon by both chambers.
So, ito na, we're seeing the first major clash between the new majority and new minority bloc, no? Wherein the new minority bloc essentially wants to keep him under Senate control kasi syempre si former Blue Ribbon Committee Chair Rodante Marcoleta was the one who he was the one who approved that Bryce Hernandez, the Assistant District Engineer Bulacan, be detained by the Senate. So feeling niya, in this instance, parang nababaliwala yung motions ng Blue Ribbon Committee under his tenure, however short it may be.
And to recall kasi, yesterday, si Bryce Hernandez sa Kongreso, humiling siya na huwag siya ibalik sa Senado dahil nagpangalan siya ng dalawang senador. He named 2 senators as being involved in the anomalies in the flood control projects, of course, that being Jinggoy Estrada and Joel Villanueva. So, yun.
So, right now, what's happening is you're seeing live pictures of the Senate plenary floor. All the senators have gone to a separate room to presumably do
maybe a caucus?
Caucus on it, right?
Or boxing.
To try to see if they could come to a compromise over the detention of Bryce Hernandez.
If a compromise is forthcoming, kasi I understand na napagkasundo na kahapon ng liderato, at least yung bago liderato ng Senado at ng Kongreso, na i-turn over sa custodial center si Bryce Hernandez. And that, of course, is the majority. Not unless they're able to, unless the minority is able to convince the majority to take back what they decided on yesterday.
It's not just about an over Bryce. Na logical naman, dahil in-implicate niya yung mga senador, ay dapat na sa isang neutral detention center siya. Pero it is more than that Dahil ito yung unang confrontation between the minority and majority. At tinitingnan ng mga tao, sino yung who will blink first?
The majority or the minority?
Yes. Kaya yun yung tinitingnan dito.
The 5 or the 9?
Yes.
Ano the 5 or the 9? Now it's the 13.
15.
Sorry. 15 or the 9. Sorry, nawala yung 1.
Medyo
Naiwan
ka sa kampungan Hindi sa kuweba, sa kampungan.
Ito pala si Raul Llamas.
I don't think he needs an introduction, but okay.
Ay, sorry.
A resident political
Bigla ka
heckler.
nagsalita, parang piling na saan galing sila ng lupa.
Kala ko, dire-diretso rin.
But anyways, the point is, this is bigger than that.
Yes.
It's a control thing. It's a control issue.
It's a control thing.
Correct. Correct.
Ano ba yung implications?
Nakalabas na kuweba sila dyan. Control thing na yun sinasabi.
No. I'm still there. Proudly so.
Ilabas mo na ng kuweba yung isa. Si Ami Pamintuan.
And isa pang nasa labas ng kuweba. As always, we've got Philippine Star Editor-in-Chief, Ami Pamintuan. Hi, Ami.
Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy pa rin,
At least kayo yung,
dami pa rin nangyayari.
At least kayo yung nangyayari, hindi kasing dami ng Monday. Saka ngayon, sila one chamber na nag-aaway internally.
Hindi yata pinanood yung episode namin kagabi. Ami, may episode kami.
Nga pala
First episode na. Hindi naman first.
Ang chismis, buhay pa rin yung yung sa house, Well, meron pa rin daw mga movements for possible leadership change.
I'm hearing wala na, Ami.
Ha?
I'm hearing wala na. The majority reaffirmed
Ano
support na daw.
It was quelled.
Ronald?
Quelled.
It was quelled.
What a word. What a word to use. Quelled. What do you mean quelled? It sounds like it was stamped out.
Walang numbers Tsaka walang signals from Malacanang.
The ever-important signal.
Unlike sa Senate.
Pero
Parang
hindi pa siya buried. Hindi pa buried. Nandun pa rin siya.
It is quelled, but it is not yet dead and buried. Therefore, resurrection is still possible.
Dahil there is such a thing as zombies
habang hindi mo na ililibing at natatabunan, maaari pa yung biglang dumilat.
Pero makikita mo yung kaibahan Sa Senate talagang nakita mo yung 10 na administration senators lumipat dun sa minority na 5. Dito sa House, wala ka nakitang ganon. Paano ang tatanungin dyan yung 5 major parties? NPC, NUP, Nacionalista, Lakas, Partido Federal. Diba?
Malaki ba yung Partido Federal?
Sa ngayon, 20 plus. Pero nandun yung anak ng presidente.
Nga naman.
Alam mo naman dyan sa House, nagbabago loyalties overnight.
But it signals from Malacanang, it's an independent body.
Sorry, Ami, nagkakaigan mo ako rito.
Sa Senate, pwede mo sabihin yon. Sa House, hindi.
So yung
talaga,
so yung composition sa House is a bit more different from the Senate composition and the dynamic ng Senate.
Iba kasi yung House doon magsisimula ang any impeachment move. Kaya dapat yung leader doon has almost total control.
Tsaka consistently, for the past how many administrations, puro supermajority parati yung nandun. I mean, supermajority ng administrasyon.
Yan
Hindi kagaya ng Senado. Yung Senado meron pang veneer of autonomy. I don't even want to say independence, autonomy.
Because there are 24 republics.
Pero meron talagang attempt sa House. Yun yung sigurado ko. May attempt na palitan yung leadership. Pero like after nung SONA, during the SONA, hindi nang-succeed.
But how close did it get? What kind of numbers were we
Not very close. Parang nung SONA, allegedly si Albi Benitez made a bid for the speakership, pero hindi natuloy dahil wala siyang numbers. Pero before the SONA, ay may effort. Ngayon, mukhang ang seryoso ngayon is si Toby Chanco. Pero
si Toby Chanco, dahil kamag-anak din yan. At kamag-anak yan ng Commander-in-Chief ni Commander-in-Chief.
But you know what? Alam mo, so si Toby is sikat ngayon because he's been very vocal about the budget, no? But I did a long sit down with him maybe 3 weeks ago now, before pa this all exploded. And he was saying na he's not an insider, even though he's a cousin-in-law. So, di ba, his wife is the cousin of Speaker Romualdez. And may ibang nakakapansin na they don't go to the Sunday lunches of First Lady Marcos anymore, First Lady Liza Marcos. And he's saying, essentially, ayaw na pumunta ng asawa niya. So, I asked him, was it because of how you were treated at the house, because of the falling out? Sabi niya, yeah, could have something to do with that. But, he denies that he was ever an insider, that he was that close to President Marcos. So, I'm wondering whether part of that is playing out here, right? So, he doesn't have...
Paano siya naging alyansa campaign manager?
An insider will always deny
that he's an insider.
Because if he says he
that's why he is an insider.
Sabi ko nga, you're textmates with the president. You're only one text away. And ikaw yung campaign manager. Sabi niya, no, I'm not an insider. Ang
mag-accept lang na outsider, yung mga katulad natin, outside talaga.
Talagang on the outside, we're just observers.
Yan ang tunay na outsider.
Good point. That's a good point. Oo, maybe he was denying lang that he's an insider. Pero
a good insider will never say that he is an insider.
Yeah. Sabi niya, no, I was never on the inside. Si Martin yun. And yun nga, he's saying that Martin is the one that's closer to...
Tayo inside the kuweba. Iba yun.
Tayo inside. Malayo.
Damay ka pa.
By the way, I just came from the CSIS Manila Strategy Forum today, day 2. Gusto ko lang i-mention before the talk gets serious again. There was somebody who watches us there every day, si Tess Dizon. She's saying she watches Storycon every day.
Sino siya?
She's, meron din siyang, I think, business in construction. So she was giving me inside
info. Meron naman siyang natututunan.
Marami. Hopefully, Tess. Hindi kondusista. But hopefully, marami daw siya natutunan. She said she's an avid fan. So
she must be lonely.
Thank you for tuning in every day.
Joke lang po.
Salamat. Dagdagan kami ng isa sa
50%. 50%.
Sa labing isa.
Akala mo lang yan. Remember, we're number 1 in cable, right?
Lumalaki yung muscle niya, lumalaki yung muscle sa pagbuhat ng sariling bangko.
Okay, talaga. Ano kayo kakuhan?
Sige na, let's go to hard news.
Okay. The headlines at this are: former Police Colonel Reina Garma is now one of the witnesses against former President Rodrigo Duterte. That's according to Justice Secretary Boying Remulla, who also said that Garma is currently in Malaysia meeting with officials of the International Criminal Court. Recently, Duterte's confirmation of charges hearing was postponed after the defense panel claimed that he is not fit to stand trial. In a statement to reporters on Monday night, Duterte's lead defense counsel Nicolas Kaufman said the former president's age and conditions of detention have taken a toll on his client. The lawyer also asked the Marcos administration to allow Duterte to come home to the Philippines. But also this week, Duterte's daughter Kitty was asked how her father is doing, and she had this to say.
He's 80, ma'am. Of course, pag 80 ka, you have like ailments, a lot of ailments, no? Sakit yung likod, may diabetes. So, I think it's yung mga normal ailments for an 80-year-old. Hindi naman yung something that we have to really worry about.
Yeah, sa RTM News sa Netherlands.
But for an 80-year-old, he is pretty strong. They can keep trying. Malinis yung konsensya Ganun talaga yan. Problema ng
For their part, lawyers of Duterte's alleged victims vowed to challenge the Duterte team's move to indefinitely defer the confirmation of charges hearing.
Kaya merong disparity sa sinasabi ng mga kaanak at sa isinusulat ni Kaufman. Kaya tingin namin may konting drama involved dun sa inihaharap sa ICC. Kaya tutol kami sa pagpapauwi. Tutol kami nga dito sa adjournment or temporary postponement on reasons of hindi raw siya fit to stand trial.
In other news, the Bureau of Customs has revealed that several luxury vehicles owned by the power couple contractors Curly and Sara Diskaya lack complete documents. According to the BOC, 8 vehicles have no certificate of payment or import entry, including a Rolls-Royce and 2 Mercedes-Benz units, while 7 others have incomplete papers. The agency added that 14 cars with complete documents will still be reviewed, and the Diskayas and consignees have been given 15 days to submit proof of tax payments.
Yung tinatawag na burden of proof o yung pagpapatunay ay nasa sa kanila upang ibigay sa amin yung kanilang mga pinagbayaran. I'm sure they will send their lawyers to argue or to prove na kanila yon at dutifully paid at tama ang dokumento. Walang dokumento sa madalit salita. So yan ay red flag kagad na potensyal na talagang maraming nangyaring mali dyan.
Meantime, Justice Department spokesperson Miko Clavana said Curly and Sara Diskaya can only be considered state witnesses if they prove that they were coerced into paying off officials. That, plus a commitment to return all illegally acquired funds. He noted that the Diskayas' declared wealth does not match their claimed 3% cut from 3% profit, from DPWH projects.
If it does not measure up to the assets that they have so proudly declared to the public, then they have to return everything above their legal income. And that is something that the Secretary has put as a condition na kailangan muna nilang ibalik yung mga nanakaw nila, nakuha nila sa maling paraan para po mapag-usapan na natin yung pagiging state witness nila.
And here are more stories we're watching at this hour. The DOJ has issued subpoenas against business magnate Atong Ang and about 60 others in connection with the case of the missing Sabongeros. The subpoenas come ahead of the preliminary investigation into complaints of multiple murder, kidnapping with serious illegal detention, and other charges. In a statement, Ang's lawyer, Attorney Gabby Villarreal, welcomed the probe and denied the allegations. He instead pointed to Julie Dondon Patidongan as the one with motive and responsibility for the disappearances.
The Department of Finance denied reports of a 28 billion peso loan deal with South Korea, saying, quote-unquote, no such loans exist. The statement came after reports that South Korean President Lee Jae-myung suspended the supposed loan amid corruption and mismanagement issues over public funds in the Philippines. Meantime, Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin assured the public that the government remains, quote, very stable despite corruption allegations in flood control projects linked to DPWH and several lawmakers. Speaking of justice, Senator Kiko Pangilinan is now the Justice Committee Chair of the Upper Chamber. He replaces now Minority Floor Leader Alan Peter Cayetano. Earlier, Senate President Tito Soto also announced other chairmanships. Senate President Pro Tempore Ping Lacson will lead the powerful Blue Ribbon Committee. Of course, Rizon Taveras takes over Bongo as chair of the Health and Demography Panel, while also keeping the Women, Children, and Family Relations portfolio. Loren Legarda will head 3 committees: Higher Education, National Defense and Security, as well as Accounts. And Rafi Tulfo will chair Labor, Employment, and Human Resources, while JV Ejercito will take over Public Order and Dangerous Drugs from Bato de la Rosa. Senator Camille Villar will lead the Economic Affairs Committee. Before we get to our first guest, let me just break this item. The DOF has issued the second press release for today, clarifying that the 28 billion peso Rural Modular Bridge Project loan is currently being proposed to be funded by France, not South Korea. So after the news broke that South Korea has pulled the plug on that loan, the DOF issued one press release, first denying that any such loan exists, and then this is the second press release for the day, saying that yung 28 billion peso Rural Modular Bridge Project is meant to be financed by France. As part of standard practice, the Philippine government explores financing options with multiple development partners for key projects. And in this case, the project was initially considered for funding by South Korea, but DAR, the Department of Agrarian Reform, decided to halt previous discussions last year because of non-alignment. And at the start of 2024, the government then decided to look for other bilateral partners who can implement the full scope for the project, and hence, again, there is no existing loan for the said project with South Korea. That is the latest on this issue.
We'll meet the ambassador tonight for dinner. So
and you'll find out what the real deal is.
Although I met the company na involved dyan sa French project na yan,
great.
Last week.
May updates come for us tomorrow. Okay, let's bring in our first guest. We're talking something else entirely. Today we're talking to former NBI Director Jaime Jimmy Santiago. Welcome back to Storycon. Director, can you hear me?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Director.
Hi, Judge.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon,
sir.
Ma'am Mami. Ma'am Regina. Boss Ed, good morning po.
Hi,
yes, Sir Ronald, good morning. Good afternoon po sa inyo. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sir, first and foremost, can we clarify what your status is? We know you resigned a few weeks ago. Was it accepted? What is your status right now?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I resigned August 15 and sabi ko naman hanggat hindi nakakahanap ng reliever ko, I'll proceed with my duties out of respect sa ating Pangulo. Ganun po.
So you still are, basically, NBI Director as of the moment?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I am still reporting dito sa NBI. Opo.
Pero, Director, ano ba nangyari? Hindi klaro sa maraming mga mamamayan. What really happened? Ba't kayo nag-resign? No? Bagamat meron kayong statement nun, no? Medyo clouded yung,
yes,
yung everything that was happening then.
Alam nyo ho, nung mag-patender ng courtesy resignation, ay sumulpot na po yung mga mayroong gusto sa aking pwesto at started na magpalabas ng mga kung ano-anong balita against me na nakakasira ng reputasyon. Kaya sabi ko, ay gusto nyo itong pwesto ko, inyo na. So I resign. Ganun po.
Pero di ba, Director, expected nyo naman yan? Nangyayari naman talaga yan? Diba?
Wala.
So, ano yung naging defining para sa inyo?
What was the trigger?
Para kayo ay mag-resign. Dahil
the last straw.
Oo, lalo na very powerful yung NBI position. Talaga may mambabato sa inyo. Sabi nga ng lolo ko, pag yung puno ng mangga namumunga, binabato. Nawala yung lolo.
Wala. Yung
We
mangga mo
lost the
kasi.
line. We lost the line.
Oh, yan na. Nakabalik na. Director, sorry, narinig niyo po yung tanong ni Ronald?
Good afternoon po ulit.
Yes, sir. Narinig niyo po yung tanong ni Ronald?
Medyo mahina ang signal po dito talaga.
Ang sabi ko lang,
pwedeng
Director,
ituloy natin kahit phone touch lamang. Opo.
Ang sabi ko lang, Director, ay ibig sabihin, hindi naman bago sa inyo yan. Alam niyo naman na very powerful ang posisyon ng NBI Director. Kaya laging may pupukol talaga dyan ng kung ano-ano. Sabi nga ng lolo ko, yung puno ng mangga, pag namumunga, binabato. No? Pero wala na ngayon yung lolo ko eh. Gusto ko sana makilala ni Reg.
Pero aware naman po ako sa gano'n dahil kung saan na po ako na during my police days, nung maging judge ako, kung saan po yung mga problematic na court, mga station ng police po, nilalagay ako. Pero iba dito, ibang klase ho. Ganun lang. Lang masasabi ko.
Hindi ba pwedeng sabihin sa amin, Director, kung yung trigger?
Sabi niyo, smear campaign eh. Tuloy pa ba, Judge?
Freeze ulit.
Nakikita niyo pa, nararanasan niyo pa rin ba yung mga yung mga sabi niyo, black propaganda against you? Hanggang ngayon?
Nag-freeze ulit, Ami.
Nawala siya.
Nawala, Ami.
Nag-freeze ulit.
Nawala
baka
siya.
yung mga
phone patch na lang, Bok. Phone patch na lang.
Baka yung mga kaaway niya. Ang dahilan.
Grabe yung NBI. Hindi maganda yung internet.
Diba? Parang yung FBI natin, di ba?
Kamusta kayong NBI cybercrime? Kung ganun.
Hey guys.
Pero dapat talaga makilala mo
Such high expectations.
Sana nakilala mo yung lolo ko.
Oh yeah?
Mas kansan.
I like him better than you.
Yeah, mas naughty siya.
Mas naughty pa.
Hindi ko ma-imagine ng ganun. Pwede ba lang yun? Sorry. It shouldn't be that funny, but... Anyway.
Magpo-phone patch na lang siya.
Phone patch na lang. Para we don't naman need the video kahit yung audio lang.
Wala naman yung NBI, no?
Pero yun kasi, sinasabi ni Director naglabas ng mga balit na nakakasira, so bumitaw na lang siya. Pero parang masyado namang just because of that,
dapat makita niya yung mga naninira sa akin.
Di ba?
Mas matindi, di ba?
SWAT sharpshooter si Director dati bago naging judge.
Go ahead, Ami.
Ayan. Judge, tuloy pa rin ba yung mga sabi mong mga black propaganda against you hanggang ngayon?
Noon naman pong makita nila na hindi pa umaaksyon ng ating Pangulo ay natigil na po.
Ano ba sabi ng Malacanang? Hindi ka kinokontak? 1 month na yung mo Anong sabi ng Malacanang sa'yo ngayon?
Si ES po ang nakausap ko. Sabi sa akin, hindi pa natatakel ang sa akin. Kaya stay put lang muna ako katulad ng sinabi ko sa sulat ko. Ganun po.
Pero Director, kasi ganito po we're talking about you kanina. Sabi nga namin dati kayong sharpshooter sa SWAT, kumbaga tigasin kayo bago kayo maging judge. So it will take a great deal of effort to just seat you and make you resign just because pinag-uusapan po kayo. So we have to go back to that. Ano po ba kaya yung naging trigger para kayo ay talagang mainis at bumitaw dahil that's something that seems to be so unusual for you?
Actually po, yung mga alam naman po natin pagka ang kasinungalingan repeated lagi, baka maniwala na ang ating Pangulo. Ayokong mangyari yun. Pati mamamayan natin, nasa dyaryo po Nilalabas nila sa dyaryo, yun namang mga iba natin kasamahan, pinapatulan. Baka po ganon ang lumalabas sa dyaryo, ganon ang nagre-report kay Pangulo, ay maniwala na ang taong bayan, maniwala na si Pangulo. Kaya sinabi ko, tumigil na kayo, lalabas na lang ako. Ganun po.
So, si Ami na naman may kasalanan.
Oo nga. Hindi namin nilabas yun. Sinound out ka na ba? Kasi may mga kumakalat din ngayon mga speculation lang, speculative reports na may ino-offer na naman daw bago sa yung position.
Wala po yan. Hindi po
Chismis
totoo
lang ba
yan.
yun? Chismis?
Chismis lang po yun. Wala po.
Chismis.
Let's go to the meat of the matter. Director, the reason we invited you today was to talk about yung kaso ni Roina Garma, PCSO chair.
Yes.
We noticed that you,
Yes, ma'am.
kasi you were the one who accompanied her to Malaysia to talk to ICC, correct? What can you tell us?
Not really accompanied. Ganito po ang nangyari. Saturday, August 6, early Saturday, receive po kami ng information that she will be arriving. So, at check agad ako. Check ako ng Congress warrant, check ako ng Senate warrant, check ako ng court warrant. Wala pong warrant of arrest na issued against her. Ay, September pala, September. Oo. Ngayon, sabi ko sa mga tao ko, ganun pa man, salubungin nyo, puntahan nyo, i-monitor nyo, tingnan natin kung anong magagawa natin, i-secure natin siya. Ganun po. E di, nagpunta naman po ang aking mga tao doon at sinalubong siya, nag-usap, sabi, uuwi daw siya, ganun. Sabi ko, baka gusto niya magpa-custody sa atin para safety siya. Hindi na raw, uuwi daw siya. Aba, kinabukasan, Sunday, nagulat kami at paalis na naman siya. This time, papuntang he will be leaving mga 10 p.m. Via AirAsia to Malaysia. Kaya ako mismo, nagpunta sa airport. Tinanong ko siya, bakit ka aalis? Ano ba, natatakot daw siya dito sa Pilipinas and may kausap daw siya. She was instructed by somebody from the ICC to proceed to Malaysia so that doon sila mag-uusap at ipa-finalize ang kanyang affidavit. Ganun po.
So, hindi na po kayo sumama? You did not go with her?
Ay, hindi po. At saka, yun nga po, sabi ko nga, wala kaming holding sa kanya. So, hindi ko siya makuha, makustody. Hindi ko naman siya mapatan na umalis. Karapatan niya po yun. Kaya pinangaralan ko na lang siya sa mag-ingat siya. May kasama siyang pinsan niya, lalaki. Kinuha naman ko yung number niya at kinuha yung number ko para sabi ko kung ano man ang maitutulong namin sa kanya, ay wag mag-hesitate na tumawag lamang po sa akin.
Wala ko siyang binanggit kung ano yung kanyang testimonya sa ICC, kung anong nilalaman?
I understand tungkol sa reward system, tungkol doon sa extrajudicial killing during the previous administration. Parang tungkol doon po siya iikot ang kanyang testimony.
So wala po siyang
Director, yung sinabi mo taga-ICC yung contact niya. So walang role dyan yung gobyerno natin sa pagpunta niya sa Malaysia?
Wala pong role ang gobyerno natin. Kaya nga lang ako yung pinag-iingat ko siya, siyempre nasa poder natin, nandito sa Pilipinas, pero paglabas niya dito ay ayun, wala na tayong magagawa sa kanya. Ganun po.
So wala siyang escort at all? Nobody is kumbaga, watching over her, escorting her, or providing any sort of assistance or security for her?
Wala po sir wala po But nung August 6, nung dumating siya, naka-watch lang kami sa kanya. Naka-monitor lang kami sa kanya, sir.
It's
September 6. September 6.
It's a bit curious because she was deported, correct, sir? Because her asylum application was rejected, so technically she was deported.
Yes, remember after the Senate inquiries, ganon, Congress inquiries, bigla siyang nawala on November. In November last year. Tapos nag-seek siya ng asylum sa United States but the same was denied. Kaya ayun, balik siya. Last Saturday nga lang bumalik. Ganun po.
So,
Director, wala bang kaso sa kanya related to yung pagpatay dun sa yung isang official ng PCSO? Hindi pa siya kinakasuhan doon?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, we have filed a case against her, Barayuga murder. Yes, the same was submitted for resolution sa DOJ May 2025. But to date, wala pa tayong resolution. Kaya wala pa akong holding sa kanya.
So, Director, walang quid pro quo dito. Parang walang whatsoever pressure para siya ay tumestify. Kay Digong
wala po. Wala po.
From anybody.
On her own. Yes. On her own, gusto niya po. Sabi ko nga, why don't you stay here in the Philippines? Natatakot daw siya dito. Sabi ko, mapoproteksyonan kita. Mabibigyan ka namin na witness protection program, whatever. But she prepared to fly to Malaysia.
And when is the return, Director Jimmy? Kailan daw babalik?
Medyo hindi namin napag-usapan yun, ma'am. Pero I have their telephone number and she has my telephone number. Pwede kaming magkontakan, whatever, ano man. Apo.
Final destination ba niya Malaysia o tutuloy siya ng The Hague?
Yun lang ho ang information na binigay niya. She will meet ICC investigator in Malaysia. Ganun po.
She specifically said, sir, ICC investigator.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Kasi, nabalitaan lang din namin second-hand information that she was meeting with ICC investigators and all along, yun nga, we thought that you accompanied her.
So, hindi na po ako kasama. Opo.
So, sir, there is nothing that will require her or make her come back to the Philippines anymore. In other words, wala tayong control sa kanya at all.
Aba, ito pong sir, ito pong Barayuga murder case.
Ito pong sinampay niyo.
Finally, ma-file ito sa court, then magkakaroon siya ng
warrant.
Ayun, yes, ma'am.
But in the meantime, wala pa ho eh.
Meantime, wala pa. Kaya wala akong authority to detain him or to hold her. Ganun.
And she's not on a whole departure order as far as you know, Director?
Wala pong whole departure order. Wala naman siyang kaso. May lookout bulletin. Lookout bulletin na malaman lang kung lalabas siya, badadating siya, aalis siya. May lookout bulletin. Opo.
Okay. All right. We'll leave that there for now. Thank you so much for talking to us today, former NBI Director Jimmy Santiago.
Thank you, sir.
Hindi ko alam if sabihin ko former NBI Director. Still NBI Director.
Yeah, siya pa rin.
Salamat po, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Salamat po.
Sir, we'll keep in touch with you, sir. We'll have somebody talk to you after we sign off. Thanks, sir.
We'll just, as we follow this story. You are watching Storycon on One News. We just need to take a very quick break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
We have developing news and the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao.
And I'm Regina Lay, still with us. Ami Pamituan at the Philippine Star and Ronald Damas, a resident political heckler.
Bungis ka dyan, no? Mamaya ka na.
By the way,
bakit aliw kayo?
By the way. Okay.
Well, Ami, joining us this afternoon is ICC certified lawyer Gilbert Andres. Attorney Andres, magandang hapon. Welcome back to Storycon.
Hi, Attorney.
Magandang hapon, Attorney.
From somewhere in Europe.
Sa Europe po.
Sir, what do we know about Garma's testimony or upcoming testimony or, expected testimony sa ICC? Any word?
Dahil siya daw yung kusang loob na kumontak sa ICC. Naniniwala ba kayo, Ron?
Well, I presume good faith, Good faith is presumed in law, And in fact, that's the SOP of the OTP to determine whether a potential witness freely is going to testify. So that's part of the SOP of the OTP. And this is a good development based on the interview of Justice Secretary Remulla, because it means that there might be an insider who can actually pinpoint the contextual element of a crimes against humanity. Because remember, one of the elements of crimes against humanity is there a widespread or systematic attack against the civilian population. So hindi lang to random killings, yung patayan sa war on drugs. Widespread or systematic attack po siya.
So walang pressure sa kanya yung gobyerno to be a witness sa ICC?
I presume walang pressure because everything should be presumed in good faith, ano? And malalaman naman yan sa interview with the OTP. And to be very technical about it, we really don't know the details, ano, of the OTP and interview. And in fact, if it really happened, but we just presume it based on the interview of Justice Secretary Remulla, because the SOP really of any OTP interview, it's actually confidential.
Pero attorney, you're familiar with Garma's testimony doon sa sa Congress. Alam mo naman yung accusation against her role in the war on drugs, na kasama siya doon sa mga payoff sa pag-identify. Sa tingin niyo, kung sakaling matutuloy ang kanyang testimony, sino-sino pa ang dapat na masabit diyan?
Well, kung sino yung yung kanyang ma-identify na nag-implement ng reward system. And I can just surmise that it involves the hierarchy of the PNP. You remember, there's a chain of command in the PNP hierarchy. So hindi lang naman isang taong pwedeng gumawa niyan. So the chain of command should be implicated.
Tungkol naman, attorney, doon sa na-postpone na hearing, confirmation hearing ni ex-President Digong. So, what was that about? Ayun, nalito yung iba rito na ano ba yung dine-delay? No.
Okay. 3 points, First, the defense applied for a indefinite postponement, indefinite adjournment of the proceedings. But secondly, what the pretrial chamber actually granted was a limited period within which to decide on the adjournment request. So hindi po nag-grant yung indefinite period. What was granted was the limited period. In fact, that was also intimated by the OTP. Third, the limited period is just basically to determine whether or not Mr. Duterte is fit for trial. But I'd like to add a fourth point, and that's the dissenting opinion of one of the judges. Sabi ng dissenting opinion is that fit for trial presupposes that it proceeded to trial. And that's within the power of the trial chamber, not of the pretrial chamber. Because the pretrial chamber will only determine, based on Article 61, Paragraph 7, whether to confirm the charges, not to confirm the charges, or to adjourn and leave it to the prosecutor to amend or change the document containing charges. So wala actually doon yung determination of being fit for trial.
But what is the limited period? 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month? Ano ang ibig sabihin ng limited period?
Actually, we can only surmise, kasi hindi talaga nakastate yung limited period. It should be a reasonable period, Hindi naman siguro taon ito. It should only be months. In fact, there was actually a paragraph in the decision wherein the parties and the participant should be ready for an eventual confirmation of charges, if applicable.
Kung indefinite adjournment, anong ibig sabihin nun? Kasi parang iniisip ng ibang tao ano ba yan? Dinadjunk na ba yung kaso? Ano bang ibig sabihin nun?
To be clear, hindi po na-junk yung kaso. Ang sinasabi ng limited period is that in the mind of the judges, we can presuppose that mayroon silang time period. As to what the time period is, we do not really know because it's in the minds of the judges. But eventually, it will be publicly stated. Kasi any adjournment, any postponement, any scheduling of a confirmation of charge should be made public. And that's based on the rules of procedure of the ICC.
Attorney, help us understand what it's going to take to make for Rohini Garma to become a credible witness to the ICC. I mean, of course, she herself is implicated in this. She herself has a role. So what are the considerations here by the court in terms of deciding, whether to take her word or not?
Well, of course, first and foremost, it's really the OTP within its prosecutorial discretion who will determine whether or not to present Garma in whatever proceedings, whether pre-trial or if it will come to that, trial proper. Secondly, what the OTP will look at if her testimony is freely given. And third is to determine whether it's important in proving the case and proving the that the pre-trial should go on to trial. Kasi remember, lower yung standard of evidence needed. Substantial grounds to believe. Hindi pa po kailangan ngayon yung proof beyond reasonable doubt. Parang substantial grounds to to believe na it should proceed to trial. So they will look at ano ba yung elements of crimes against humanity for murder ang pwedeng masupport ni Colonel Garma. And I think, this is my opinion, it's the contextual element that there's a widespread or systematic attack against the civilian population.
Yeah.
And that this act was based on an organizational or state policy by Mr. Duterte.
So it's a much lower bar, in essence, for
Much
now.
lower bar for the confirmation of charges, substantial grounds to believe.
For now.
Attorney, yung determination ng fitness to stand trial, i-consider ba yung mga statement na halimbawa yung interview with Kitty Duterte, sabi niya, okay naman daw yung health ng tatay niya. I mean, it contradicts it contradicts yung testimony, yung argument na he's too weak, he's getting old, pwede bang gamitin yon in the argument of the prosecution?
Okay, this is a factual determination. That's why the victims would really want to show and their views and concerns on this matter, because there are actually previous interviews of Mr. Duterte that he actually is a good actor. Oo, mayroon po siya. Pwede niya pong gayahin na kunwari nagkakasakit po siya. Mayroon din po mga previous interviews na nagpapakita na talagang gangho siya. May performative politics siya na he's really willing and able to face the ICC proceedings. So the victims would want to show these views and concerns. But I'd like to point out that based also on ICC jurisprudence, wala pa pong nag-grant na indefinite postponement based po on an allegation of unfitness to stand trial. Wala pa po.
And in
So
general,
hindi yan medical fitness, hindi yun ang basis niyan. Hindi namin maintindihan kung saan i-base yung paano ka bang sasabihin na you're fit or you're unfit to stand trial dyan sa ICC, ha?
Well, actually, the ICC will look at the overall health of the suspect. And the regulations for that is the regulations of the registry, because the registry is the neutral body that actually has supervision over the health and well-being of the suspect. So magkakaroon po yan ng determination through the registry po, and it will be forwarded to the pretrial chamber.
So there's still a number of steps. But thank you so much for shedding light on the process. We'll have you back on once we have more clarity on this issue. Thank you for joining Storycon today despite being on the move. ICC certified lawyer, attorney Gilbert Andres.
Thank you, attorney.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, attorney.
Okay, kamusta kami kay ex-human rights lawyer Harry Roque? Kung nandiyan ka.
Every time we mention yan ni Ronald. Okay, we've got big breaking news.
Wala po.
We've got big
Thank you
breaking.
po. Mabuhay po tayo.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Big breaking news
Thank
just
you.
now. So after ng caucus at the Senate, Senate
Mahaba-haba rin,
President Tito Soto has announced that Bryce Hernandez, the assistant district engineer, will be moved to Pasay City Jail.
It's even worse.
Actually, it's even worse. Can you imagine the city
Hindi,
jail
nakapunta
Pasay?
na ako doon.
Sa Pasay?
Kaya nag-hearing na ako dyan eh. Kaya alam ko itsura ng
Pero
jail.
Ami, mas malapit sa Senate.
Is that
Kung ako
why?
si Bryce, magre-request
Senate is
ako.
Pasay.
Doon na lang ako sa PNP, pwede ba?
Sa custodial
Eh,
center.
Custodial Center, for VIP si Custodial Center
Yan, mas
Yung
malapit.
Pasay City
kaya
Jail,
nga.
puro mga snatcher.
Hindi, tsaka malapit sa Senate.
So, it
Wala
was
ko sinasabi na mga snatcher din yung nandun, no?
So it was a,
Wala akong sinasabing
it was a geographic compromise,
Mas
gano'n.
geographic. Hindi yung like, hindi yung gano'n.
Ewan ko lang kung nag-improve na yung facilities dyan. Baka may bago naman sila. Pero dati talaga, it's overcrowded. Ewan ko, kailangan siya i-isolate. Baka kailangan siya i-isolate dyan if he's worried about his
Maybe,
personal safety.
Baka magpa-transfer na si Bryce sa Senate.
So
Pag nalaman
baka
niya na sa
magpabalik na lang
Pasay
siya sa
City Jail
Senate.
siya mapupunta.
Pero Bok, seriously if he's allowed to or if he's made to mix with the general population of the prison, delikado
Kailangan
yun.
siya solitary
Baka
siya.
tutubuhan ka doon.
Malamang hindi naman siguro. Pero usually, ang mga sakit dyan kasi pigsa.
Ay, may baba yun.
Yan, talaga.
So, pasensya na, I have no sympathy. But
Totoo.
anyways,
Talaga, pigsa ang usual sakit dyan.
No, but kasi if you want him to testify, you want to keep him
the backstory to this is nagkaroon ng big debate at the Senate plenary today. The minority wanted Bryce Hernandez to be detained by Senate. The issue is the jurisdiction of who will supervise itong si Bryce Hernandez. The minority bloc, led by Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, wanted him at the Senate. Yung majority was, I think, okay to leave him at the PNP Custodial Center.
Interesting.
Well, although I'm not sure, pero so nag-clash sila doon. This is the first, confrontation between the new minority and majority blocs. And ito na nga, the breaking news just this minute is that collectively they have decided to transfer him to Pasay City Jail. But then again, the question there is on what charge? Because remember, he was just cited for contempt, right?
Contempt lang yan eh, oo.
Can you transfer somebody to
Yeah, you
jail?
can. Under
Hindi
the
ka
rules of the
pwede,
House and the
oo.
Senate, if they
For how
cannot...
long?
Until matapos yung matapos ang session or matapos ang investigation.
Ang gusto kong malaman, bakit Pasay City Jail?
What led to that compromise
Paano naging compromise yun? Yun yung interesting.
Because it's
Geographically closer.
Hindi. Baka it's so bad, baka matauhan na siya. He'll be forced into...
But,
Pag ganda ng analysis mo,
that makes it more dangerous for your potential witness.
No, but if you get a taste of life...
That's a risky detention facility.
Here's a taste of your
kailangan
life.
niya yung testimony niya.
Kaya nga, so here's a taste of your life in jail. Baka naman after 24 hours, he decides di niya kaya, so he'll come clean, right?
Torture, human rights violation.
Hindi lang ako magko-comment with, I will leave that analysis. Na.
So geographical proximity talaga.
Hindi ako sa'yo.
Kasi
baka magbago yung pagtingin niya sa buhay.
It's a pretty grim place, hindi ba? Pasay City Jail, sabi nga ni Ami. Ikaw, maraming doon.
Kasi City Jail lang at saka Camp Karingal ako nakulong.
Sa Camp Crame.
Hindi mo nakita yung Manila
Karingal.
Yung Manila City Jail, dati nasa Quiapo
Hindi ba ako napunta sa City Jail.
So it'll be interesting. We'll try to find out ano yung story there. How they ended up deciding on Pasay City Jail instead.
Maganda yung teorya mo. Simple yan.
Parang, kumbaga,
Sindakin, ha?
Third, what do they call it? Third place.
Gising siya.
Sindakin siya.
Magpapay.
Ito ba gusto mo?
Magpapay yan yung human rights violation.
Mali mo.
Pera o pigsa?
Kasi yung Senate Detention Center is too nice, di ba? It's very clean, it's very,
Hindi ka mapipigsa ron.
Pati yung PNP Custodial Center.
Kasipin mo dyan, ipis, saka yung daga.
Oo, may aircon.
Buti nga ang ipis daga. Yung kapwa inmates mo ang problema mo doon. Yung kapwa inmates mo ang malaking problema.
We'll try to find out. But thank you so much for joining StoryCon today. Ami Pamidon, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star, Ronald Llamas, our resident political pundit. Join us again tomorrow 4 p.m. for StoryCon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Ed Lingao. We are One News, all sides, all the time.